Hey guys, Ken here from Backpacking Light, and today I'm just going to do a quick video on how I plan and pack for a 3-day hike. I'm going to be going up to a river in northern Sweden, a little bit north of Umeå, called Rickleon. It's a great fishing trail, and it's just a good hike, more or less. I've only been on certain sections, so now I kind of wanted to take the time to hike the entirety of the trail. And so what I'm looking at, kind of how I'm thinking about the planning, is going to be around 10 degrees at night. That'll be the cold point. And if it's going to be around 10 degrees, I'll usually plan and pack for about 5 degrees. One, because I'm a cold sleeper, and two, because the weather, you know, what the newscasters say it's going to be, or the meteorologists say it's going to be, and what it actually is on the ground can usually be rather big variations. Also, it'll be near the water, which is going to chill it down a bit. And you know, usually temperature gauges are done in the middle of a city or in the middle of a small town, which is always going to be warmer than, for example, out in nature, which is usually going to be a few degrees colder. So that's kind of how my planning process is. It's not supposed to rain, but I usually pack for that anyway. I want it to be as light as possible, warm and comfortable. So that's kind of what this packing is going to be. Light, warm, comfortable for 3 days along Rickleon, with a temperature gauge of around 5 to 8. It's also going to be a fishing trip, and I also have to have my DSLR with. Yeah, so I'll just basically go through how I pack my bag, what gear I'm taking on this specific trail. Alright, so I'm going to start off with my backpack. For this one, I'm going to be using the Hyperlite mountain gear Windrider 2400. So I'm going to go ahead and pack that, and I use, as always, a waterproof liner on the inside, and this is the Hyperlite mountain gear pack liner. I've had this for a few years now, and that's basically why I use that instead of trash bags or the Gossamer Gear pack liners, is because it holds forever. Actually, to kind of show this a little better, I'll pack everything here first and then put it in there, just to kind of give an idea of how I pack. Again, that's the Radical. You can see if I don't have a stuff sack or press it down, that's how big it'll be. But since I will squeeze that down, there, and that's before I have any weight on it, so it takes very little room in my backpack. So I've got that packed in there, and what I packed next is my little packing pods. This is like my first aid kit, my daily use items, my pillow. I'll kind of show that. On this one, I'm not going to need a wind jacket because I'll have a rain jacket with me, which I usually use a lot more. This is my pillow. This is just a ridiculously large pillow and heavy. The Aero's down pillow, but what I really like about it is that I can fold it. And so I get it really high, thick like that, and when I sleep, that helps with I'm a side sleeper, so I don't get any pain in my back when I do that, or at least minimal pain, because it just lifts up my head so that my spine is relatively straight. So I think it's worth the wait for me to get a good night's sleep. I've got my eye mask, my first aid kit. My philosophy around first aid is that you bring what you know how to use. Toothbrush and toothpaste, some extra batteries, maybe I'll bring an extra shirt to sleep in or something, which I'll also have in there. Now, remember, this is my watertight bag that I put inside my Hyperlite, and I just put this right on top of my sleeping bag. Now this is the packing pod small 4400, which may be in focus, I don't know. So I just put that on top of the sleeping bag, and I just squish that down. So now I've got sleeping bag my packing pod with my... So when I want maximum comfort for minimal weight, such as I want on this trip where I'm going to be having a lot of wet clothes because of the wading and the fishing gear and so on, then I would like something like the Copper Spur that gives me both a big vestibule, and if I want, the 2020 version actually gives me even an awning. So you've probably seen pictures of that. So here I have the 3 pads that I normally switch between depending on temperature, how light, how big, and so on. The first one I have here is the Sea to Summit Etherlite XT insulated large rectangular. It's just a massive sleeping pad, but very comfortable. It's also the heaviest one I have of these 3. The next one is the Uberlite, which I also sleep quite well on. This is the large, wide, big Agnes AXL air insulated. It's got about the same temperature ratings as the Sea to Summit, which would be a 3.5, I think, R rating, which will get it just above 0. And this one I use the because what I wanted was like I wanted the Sea to Summit. I had this one first, but I wanted it lighter with the same comfort. And yeah, Sea to Summit does make the regular Mummy as well, which is almost the exact same weight as the AXL Air. But I started testing the AXL Air and I found that it's just as comfortable and warmer than the Sea to Summit. The regular Mummies are perfect for me. Now if you're laying on your back and you're as big as I am, then you'd probably want longer. But for me, how I sleep, a regular large works fantastic. Or a regular Mummy, I mean. So I'm starting to come into the home stretch here, and I'll continue in my little pack. Now I have the Copper Spur. You can see it's kind of a big pack. It takes room, and that's because of the metal pole that keeps it up. So I put that usually in the middle, and then I put my sleeping pad to one side and my kitchen to the other side, and then I fill up those 2 sides. My kitchen is the Toaks dry fuel. It comes with the titanium S-bit burner, the little windscreen, and I've got enough fuel for 3 days on the trail for 4 boils if I want boils, which I rarely want boils. So it gives me, with those 2 tablets, 14 gram tablets I think, or are they 12 gram? I'll split those depending on how warm I want the water. I never burn a hole, it'll be about half. And if I just want to get the water, warm enough, then it'll be a half of a half. So those 2 will get me through 4 days without a problem. So I put that to the other side. Now you see I have a lot of room on the sides still. This is the Piac down Phantom jacket. Fantastic made jacket. One of the highest quality jackets I've seen. Like their other gear, just phenomenal quality. It is small. So even the XL on me, and I'm normally an XL in pretty much anything, even the XL on me is kind of tight. So, think about that if you want to buy one. It's 330 grams, which, you can make the argument that I could always go with a 150 gram down. I could, but I like that extra warmth. I've been stuck in situations where the down jacket has been like the only thing stopping me from freezing when I sleep, for example. When I'm prepared, for example, now if it's 10 degrees and I'm bringing gear that'll get me down to about 4 degrees, but what happens if it goes to 0? Which is perfectly possible in the mountains and perfectly possible in the spring and fall. For where I hike. So I put that in there and that kind of fills out the bag nicely. Jacket, OMM Halo pants, total under 200 grams. And right now I'll pack them inside this one just because they're not wet. So I'll just pack them like that for the moment. If they're wet, then inside my backpack I'll close this and I'll have my wet clothes on the outside of my pack liner, of course. So that's pretty much my entire packing. And we can go ahead and weigh this. Exactly 3 kilos. And I don't skip on anything. I mean, I have everything I want with me. I'm bringing my 45-liter backpack back into action. And this one is just a big hole. So basically I just take my big packing and I put it into that big hole. There we go. And plenty of room there for my food bag. Alright, so now you've already seen the total weight here has been 5, so with my food for 3 days it'll be 7. After the first day, about 600 grams will disappear after the first day because I got those sausages that are easily the ones that weigh the most. But we have it. Everything in my 45-liter pack, 7 kilos for 3 days. Lots of comfort, lots of warmth, lots of security, easy, fast, works for me. I could go lighter, but I don't need to. So, if you liked the video, subscribe. You can buy all of this gear at backpackinglight.se, in Sweden.dk, throughout Europe. Cheers!